Hello, folks. How are we doing? It's another episode of the Countdown to Kickoff for the build-up show for the Liverpool versus Arsenal game. Not long now. The lineups are out. I'm joined today by the one and only, the fountain of knowledge, the encyclopedia himself, Kevin O'Sullivan. Kev, how you doing, mate?
I'm really good, mate. Can't be a bit honest. A bit nervous now after seeing the lineup and, more importantly, seeing the bench. But good nervous, quietly confident of getting a result. But you wouldn't want to be going into the trenches with what's on the bench at the minute. Yeah, no disrespect to the players who are there, but it's light to say the least.
Yeah,
We'll get into that.
Very, very light. I think on the actual, so first impressions, you said that, Kev, as well. What's your thoughts on, just jump right into it, what's your thoughts on Ox going in ahead of Henderson, which I know we kind of discussed that previously.
Yeah, I think, look, on fitness, it's fine. His form has been okay. When he's been playing recently, he's done all right. I'm interested. I just want to see which side he plays on, whether he plays on the right or left. Looking forward to seeing Thiago start as well. But I think Ox probably maybe off the left and Thiago on the right. I don't know. I want to see how that is from kickoff. That could go either side. But 1 to 11, I'm absolutely fine with. You know, when Klopp said in his presser that he thought that Ox was worse than Hendo, that Hendo was worse than Robbo, you knew in the back of your head then that, you know, there was only one option left, and that was Oxlade-Chamberlain. And I always like players playing against their old clubs. I always fancy him doing something against their old clubs. So hope for the best with him.
Yeah, to be fair, it's funny you say that. I'll just get into Kevin Ball's comment in a second, Kev. But I had a funny feeling during the week when I spoke to you. I thought because of that Oxford start, and I do think there may be a bit of that. And when you think about, you know, against Arsenal, he's played for Liverpool. He scored against Arsenal. I know in the League Cup for us. I remember he scored a really good goal against Arsenal. So I feel like maybe can you use that incentive to get Ox? I actually think I've got a feeling Ox might play quite well today. I think he'll be right up for it. So I'm actually okay in though. I know there'll be some people in the comments worried about that, but I'm actually okay with that. But on Kevin Ball's comment, I think he absolutely reinforces what Kev's saying. It's the last three names, mate. It's the last three names that you're just like, wow. It's they've shoved the academy lads.
I mean, is Phillips Nat Phillips or I don't know.
I think it's Nat Phillips.
Yeah, Owen Beck's left back. Morton has done well when he played in the League Cup. So, and Bradley has done okay at right back cover when he's played, but this is big boy football. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, Kev, about it being shocking, but we are where we are, and the injuries in that area of the pitch have caught up with everyone at the minute. So there's not an awful lot anyone can do about it. It's not a case of anyone's missing from suspension. So I don't know. It's Taki is on the bench, isn't he? He is.
Yeah, Taki's on the bench.
Taki, Hendo, and Konate are the three senior players.
Yeah, Origi's not on the bench, is there? Origi's not on
the
bench.
No, but Origi came off. Yeah, he came off playing for Belgium, didn't he?
Yeah, good point, Kev. He did.
Late on, and whether it was just a precaution with him, you know, more than anything, because when he came off, he wasn't. There was nothing really big made of it. But I was surprised. Is Nico Williams not on there either?
As far as I've got my bench here, I did check it right from my phone. No, it's no, he must not. No, it's Cade Gordon's in it. So yeah, that's another attacking option, but it is an academy player. So yeah, even Nico's not in as well. Who actually, listen, I criticised him in the past, but I thought he played quite well for Wales in the break of left wing back. He was good.
Yeah, so I was
seems to prefer it on that side. Seems to seems to suit him. He looks more confident if you ask me, Kev. But we'll see.
It does, because you look at him, he's one of these players, he's always confident. When he's playing on the right wing, I watched him a lot for the under-23s, and he was always confident of coming in on his left foot and shooting with his left foot. So if he can do this, if he plays on the left and can do that, cut in on his right foot to shoot, he's got that in his locker, and he can always cross with his left foot, which he did for Wales. So yeah, Origi, dead leg, nothing to write home, but should be available for midweek next week. But it's one of those things you can't do a lot about that. It's a short-term thing, a game, and that'll be okay.
Yeah, and just to add, Kevin Paul again says, just to finish on the bench, he says, look at the Chelsea bench today, and hours now, the difference is massive. I think, especially with depth, now don't get me wrong, I do think there's sometimes in a season you will all teams will have a few academy players on the
Yeah.
bench. That's not unheard of. But I think Kevin Ball also says as well that it's worrying we're only in November. I would agree, guys, and I think we'll not get into that today, but we feel like there must be something in January, some bit of reinforcement, but that's not today's show.
That's definitely for one down the road for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, Polly adds, nearly forgot the cat emoji. Maui's the cat's sitting there just enjoying it, just chilling, watching BT Sports Score on mute. But yeah, Kev. So that's regarding the bench and Ox playing. What's your thoughts on the rest of the squad today? Is there any sticking out, Kev, that you feel like you might be looking forward to watching?
Robbo made sense. He came off from Scotland with fatigue. You know, he came off himself. He called to come off as a precaution because he could feel something wasn't right.
Yeah.
So, and I think it was Klopp said that at least this time he didn't play through it. You know, which is what he would have done in the past. Which at least he had his head on his shoulders. It'll do him no harm to have a week off. The fact that we've got today, Tsimikas has earned his place anyway. Apparently, he played out of his skin for Greece.
I think they played in a 5 as well. They both played in a 5, ironically, Robertson and Tsimikas for their international teams.
Even playing for us, though, he's done nothing wrong. He's justified his push into the squad. He's given Klopp a question to answer all season.
Yeah, probably makes it easier for Klopp as well, Kev.
Yeah,
probably does. The fact that Robbo came off, it doesn't have to make a decision. If you know what I mean, he can just say, sit this one out and play Tsimikas.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the question, just because of Robbo's form, was going to be would have been asked in the future at one point anyway. So it probably gives Klopp a bit of a free pass on that.
It does, yeah. But I think it's the right thing. It was the right decision to make anyway.
Absolutely.
I mean, Virgil and Joel, be interested to see how Virgil holds up after the games with the Netherlands. He had a bit of a shaky time of it in the international break, if I'm honest. Got caught out of position, similar to how he got caught out of position for, I think it was one of the goals that we conceded against West Ham, where he was pulled out of position into midfield to try to attack the ball, and he didn't get back really quickly. So it was similar for the Netherlands. But see how he gets on with Joel Matip today. Trent was his usual self for England. He was phenomenal. But yeah, the back four with Tsimikas, it's a good solid back four. Ali's fine, you know, absolutely no question and no issue with him. So
do you think, Kev, just to dash you on that, would you have started Konate?
No.
Still stuck with Matip for this game?
Still stick with Matip purely and simply because Matip doesn't go on international duty. So he'd have been at the club working and he'd have been rested, recuperated. And I've no problem playing Konate midweek. And if it's a case you play Konate midweek with Matip, fine. And give Virgil the night off against Porto.
Or a Gomez.
Gomez
isn't
available.
Phillips,
so,
I meant to say Phillips, sorry.
Yeah,
Phillips.
Either or, but there's no rush with him. He's still a young kid, so there's no real need to push him. But I think you go with your tried and tested against an informed Arsenal side. There's no reason why you wouldn't.
No, I get that, Kev. What I was going to say, just before we get off topic on the Tsimikas Robbo thing, and obviously I'm going to say this, but I think I found out that Robbo had actually, I think last season he'd actually played through, was it yourself who told me, Kev, he'd played through, playing through the pain for an injury he had for I think most of the season or half the season. So it was just, I think me and you had that conversation before. He's probably just the other night when Scotland were 2-0 up against Denmark, I think it was 1-0 at a time, he's probably hit the floor and went, my legs are done. I just need a break. So
I mean, plenty of times players in the past will fear for their spot in a side and will play through rather than do the right thing and protect themselves. It's the one thing I suppose the foreign players are very good at. And in fairness, with some of them over the years, the likes of Van Persie, Arjen Robben was notorious for it, where he'd never play injured. You know, it was a case that they wouldn't go through the pain barrier, whereas Robbo was the opposite. When his body was telling him to stop, he wasn't.
Yeah,
you know, it's really important at the stage that we're in, with the depth of, with the issues with depth that we have, that these players listen to their bodies when they're not right. Don't gamble. There's no need to gamble. We're only 11 games into the season. We're going into a rush of games now over the next few months, but you don't need to take unnecessary risks. this title won't be decided, on things that happen before, in the run up to Christmas or around the Christmas period. This title will be decided in February, March.
Yeah.
But you want to be in and around the shout by the time that comes around. So there's no point in taking silly, stupid risks with players carrying knocks at the minute. And you can see that as evident today with Jordan Henderson being on the bench. He's not quite right, so you don't gamble.
Don't take a chance. I think the thing is as well, Kev, just to add to the Robbo thing, see, because Scotland have gotten a playoff spot now, that's definitely on his mind as well. It's like that's a potentially we reached. He being the captain reached the Euros, but potentially getting to a World Cup is something that's
massive.
like that's extraordinary for any
It's
Scottish
huge weight as well.
to do.
Huge weight.
So I think that's definitely on his mind as well. He's like, it has to be right. I know it's a couple of months away, but I think he's that's maybe on his mind now. Winning a Champions League, winning a Premier League, and that's another big factor in his life. So might be interesting. Just to say, Black Cameron, I know you're asking about Div. We just said earlier in the chat, Div's he's got a dead leg during the week. So Origi Divock is out for today's squad. What I was going to say, I know I just saw this in the comments. Villa have scored apparently, Kev.
Fair play. I had him out for a draw, so if they get a win, brilliant, delighted.
Well, Kevin Ball's actually I think Origi's ill, so fair enough if that's the case as well.
Well, the only worry I had with that was Kevin De Bruyne testing positive for COVID. They were in the same squad, so maybe it's an extra precaution that they've decided. Look, you isolate until you return a negative PCR test, because that's the last thing we need running through the squad at the minute, and that can happen to any club at any time.
Yeah, no, absolutely fair enough.
So
good point as well. Good point as well, Kev. Gerrard's winning his first game with 35% possession against Brighton. Listen, Brighton are a great team. Very good play.
That's very Gerard Houllier, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think that's the way we go for his future, but I think it's the first game where it's that team, isn't it? He needs to.
Yeah.
You can have a bounce, but you can't implement lots in the first game, can you?
You can make them defensively solid, and that's the be all and end all.
You've just jinxed it, or not? You've just helped it. 2-0 now, Kev.
Tyrone Mings set piece. Yeah. Who knows? He could turn Tyrone Mings into a proper player.
No, he had a good run, didn't he, Mings? And then he kind of.
Gerrard will definitely earn his stripes if he turns Mings into a proper player.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but I think I do like Konza for Villa. I've always liked Konza. Well, he's quite a good player. He's young as well, isn't he? Daz, shout out to Daz TV. Check out Daz's channel. Great. He's just another huge chance for Shimmikas today. Looking forward to seeing him play. I am as well, and it'll be good to see him play. Like he's played brilliant. I'm not disputing that, but I think me and you, Kev, had said against Atletico Madrid that'll probably suit because it's a 5. He'll have more time in the ball.
Yeah.
Today, I think he will perform well. I have full confidence in him. I just think it's going to be a good test today because you're going to be against a team who has been reasonably quite good defensively or looked better. So I'm going to enjoy watching him play against a 4 today, a 4-4-1-1 with Arsenal. So I think he'll smash it though, because I think his delivery's just been on point at the moment. So I think he'll do great. Yeah,
the test is to see the shape that Arsenal make out. We'll get into the Arsenal lineup as well in a bit, but the task for Trent and for Tsimikas is to push their right mid and left mid back into wing back, full back positions, then dominate the game from there. If we can do that, then we'll create chances. But that's the big test for today, for the two of them to be brave enough to leave Aubameyang behind you if you want to. And trust yourself that you're not going to get the ball away in a stupid position.
Yeah, the risk reward.
That's what he's going to do. That's how he's going to play.
So literally, if you watch, I know you told me before, Kev, I think I spoke about it before. Like if you actually watch like you can have a fan cam of Trent, like a Trent cam. Just watch what he does. He does sometimes get him to push, to gamble, and kind of cat and mouse game it. So that's why sometimes I do think it's a bit over the top with the criticism of Trent at times. Because I feel like he's not an amazing defender. No one's tried to dispute that.
But
there is times
a goal at Vicarage Road. Watford 3, Man United 1.
Off, there you go. So Maguire got sent off, didn't he? And that's it. Who scored?
Maguire sent off for 2 yellows. And there might be a change of bus driver at the station.
Oh, there's definitely. Surely, even the most optimistic Liverpool fan, he's not staying in his job.
Do you know what? I don't care. I genuinely don't care. I'm looking at that bunch of players and they're not a team. No, I don't care who the manager is. There's no structure to them. There's no patterns to play. There's no running for each other. It's just I mean, that first
It's just
half.
dire. It's just dire, mate. It's just
bad.
there's no part. There's no philosophy, no identity. Nothing. It's not even like a structure, as you said.
No.
Like, don't even talk about philosophy. Just structure. Simple basics.
Yeah. If anyone in the chat hasn't watched the game today, watch Match of the Day tonight, and just watch it. Watch it with the volume off. Don't watch it without the commentary. And I swear to God, I actually feel sorry for Solskjaer, because it's not his fault. He's put him out in a sensible shape in a 4-2-3-1. The players crossed the line. The players are responsible. The players are responsible for this performance, because they're
11 again, Kev.
It's 3-1. It's 3-1.
3-1, right? Because Kevin Ball's saying they scored again, but I don't know if he meant that one.
No, it's 3-1. It's if your people are watching it on the stream there, but then I'm watching it on a tablet, so it could be more. You don't know.
Still, like, yeah.
Oh, they're in. Ball in behind, taking it. Emmanuel Dennis. No. Oh well. Here we are going to watch along. What are you going to do? When it's happening live in front of you, you just got to say.
Listen, it's a talking point, definitely. Kieran B's actually relented, as he's saying, 2 yellows for Maguire, misses 1 game out of for free. I think they have Chelsea next, or maybe it's Arsenal. So saying that is Maguire really a loss. Listen, he's in very bad form right now, and he's not in a top defender category. But there's certain teams he looked good at Leicester because he suits certain teams. If you're sitting back, Ball's brilliant at that. But I think if you're on the halfway line on the turn,
if you're trying to be a front foot defender or playing a side that wants to play a high line, it's just not him. I mean, I feel sorry. You got Matic in the middle of the park, for God's sake.
Matic's a good player, just too old.
Yeah, but he's 20.
That's what I mean. He's just too old now. He can't do it anymore. But he was
2021, like.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Chelsea was brilliant, but no, they got 40 million for Matic. That was great business by Chelsea. But yeah, I know. Man, like
back to the day job.
What he's saying, it's all about us. We need to get a job coming. Absolutely, mate. And especially with Chelsea's result earlier, it's a must win. So on our team, before we move to Arsenal, Kev, right? We'll get predictions at the very end.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be the standout today from our point of view? And in the comments as well, put who you think will be maybe the player of the match or the standout for us. And it can't be Salah every time. So
no, for me it has to be Fabinho.
Fabinho today.
If Fabinho is man of the match, we've won 4-0. If Fabinho is man of the match, we've won 4-0 because he's the one who will control the tempo. He'll shut the door on any threats getting in at the rest of them. It is 4-1. I just looked over. It is 4-1. But for me, Fabinho is the key. I expect Thiago to try to dictate the passing and for play to go through him, but.
You think he'll be on the right, Kev? You think he'll be on the right-hand side, Thiago, and Ox on the left?
I think he will, yeah. I think he's probably slightly better on the right. I think the link-up between him and Salah and Jota, I wouldn't be surprised if Trent is asked to hold back a bit more, but I think if Thiago starts on the left, Trent will be a lot more offensive, and Ox will be asked to tuck back in a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. But oh my God. That is, guys, watch Match of the Day. Bring cans. Bring cans. Phone a friend. Just
get the Gav cans out. Get the Gav cans out and watch it. No, that's amazing, mate. I think what I was going to say as well, Paulie Walnuts is saying Ox will be up for it. I'd say Ox maybe want to watch, but for me, I actually think I'm going to be keeping an eye on Thiago in this game. I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. And
his fitness will be a test because he hasn't played 90 in a long time.
Absolutely. And Jota as well. I'm not saying Jota plays amazing every game. I'm not saying he doesn't have poor moments, but I've always go on about his movement. And
he's busy, isn't he?
Quite intriguing to see how he drops in the spaces behind Tomiyasu and their backline, White and Gabriel. More I think it'd be White is the right-hand side, if I'm correct. So he drops in there, and I think he picks up great spots that allows space for Mane and Salah. So hopefully he does that today.
Yeah.
But I think I always love watching Jota's movement. Even the games he's maybe not necessarily his touches at it, his link up's amazing. His movement's always good.
Yeah.
So that's I'm going to go for Thiago, but shout out to Jota, and man like Shawnee agrees. He's saying Thiago definitely. And I talk about you being an encyclopedia. The amount of information Shawnee passes to me in Messenger, you wouldn't believe the amount of stuff I know because of him. So shout out to man like Shawnee, he's always doing that. But on Arsenal's team then, Kev, I've not got it in the...
No. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it myself.
I've got it here, but I can tell you.
Then.
So I've got... So you've got Ramsdale in goal.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-4-1-1, as I said, 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1, whatever you want to say. So it'd be Tavares instead of Tierney's playing at left back. Gabriel, White and Tomiyasu at right back. Saka right mid. Lokonga Partey in the middle, and Emil Smith-Rowe in the left midfield or left wing, whatever you want to say. Lacazette, and then Aubameyang at the very top.
Yeah. I think you'll see Aubameyang drift out onto the left and maybe tuck back in when we have the ball to make it a 5. Well, he'll make it a 4.5. He'll try to cheat, like Salah tries to cheat on the opposite wing. Same thing. Lacazette tuck back in to make it, to try and occupy Fabinho. They have pace and threats out wide for sure. Emil Smith-Rowe has been outstanding. Saka, I don't think Saka's hit the form that he has last year, but he's still been very good. Tomiyasu, I think, is a centre-back who's converted out to be a right-back. He's okay bringing the ball forward. He's not spectacular in any way, shape, or form. But the way Arsenal...
He's a competent footballer, isn't he? Yeah. Competent footballer.
He's exactly what they needed in a back four. Then, if you're going to have one full-back that goes and it's attacking, you have to have one that's capable of staying. And you'll see Arsenal, when they're in possession, play with a back three.
That's what I spoke to Arsenal fan who said that's precisely Kev.
Yeah,
in
out
attack,
of possession.
Usually Tierney or Tavares will go.
They've been doing it for a while. He does this. He did it when he first came in, and he did it all last season. But last season they actually did line up in a 5 for a long time. But when they line up in a back 4, they attack with 3 at the back.
Lopsided, isn't it?
Yeah, but they defend then in a 5 sometimes.
Yeah,
more often 4-5-1 they'll defend. Sometimes in a 5-4-1 or 5-3-2, depending on the opposition. If they're playing an opposition with a back 3 or a back 4. Yeah. So if they'll probably defend in a 4-5-1 block and look to counter with pace for the break, look to try to press with a mid-block press to win the ball back in our midfield area and break them with 3 or 4 really quick players. They're very dangerous on the break. They're in a good run of form, but to be fair, they've beaten the sides who you expect them to beat. They're not... Their goal difference,
albeit Leicester, but to be fair, Leicester doesn't look as good since then. It looks at the time it looked quite a good early kickoff win, but now it looks like. In fairness, though, like they're improving their goals from set pieces. Like they're doing the right things. They are doing the right things. I think the Tottenham first half was probably their best performance because they looked lightning in that game. I know it's Tottenham, but
exactly this is the thing. It was Tottenham and it was Leicester. Leicester are a brutal side at the minute. Rodgers is overthinking games left, right, and centre.
Absolutely.
He's just doing his usual Brendan. Spurs are in an awful shape. It's very difficult to take things out of results. But I think at this early stage of the season, you can look at goal difference, and I think goal difference tells you an awful lot of where a side is. And I think they're Arsenal are a decent side. Yeah, I think they'll challenge to be in and around the top 6 this season, which is fine from where they're coming from.
I agree.
But if we have aspirations of top 3, top 2, top 1, we have to beat Arsenal, especially after the results that have gone today. And you expect Man City to go and win tomorrow quite handy. So, it's all about keeping pace with the Joneses at the minute. And today is kind of important that we get this monkey off our back that we've been playing almost hamstrung in a way in a lot of ways in the last few games. Get back to being a nasty side that doesn't give away goals, that keeps clean sheets, and that punishes sides who make mistakes. That's what I want to see today.
And if getting a good position, like 1 or 2-0 up, being ruthless and actually just finishing the game early, because it seems to be now that when we go 2-0 up, and I know, listen, there's different examples, but there is that kind of vulnerability there now, and it's like annoying because we're in a good position. We could actually just finish some games, and I agree, Kev. Just to add on the spoke to Arsenal fan during the week and he said, see Lacazette, that in fairness to Arteta, that's quite a big call playing him because there were some shouts that he might have played Odegaard, so they had a more 4-5-1. But to be fair, Lacazette, he's not the greatest footballer and people criticise him, but see at times when I've
He's a good
watched him,
finisher.
Good finisher, and I think he can play. He can be very useful. I've actually always liked him, but some people like to criticise. I actually think Arteta seems to be working with this way. He's playing with him, and he has scored last time at Anfield. So I feel like that's a brave call by Arteta to stick with that because he could have played it safe.
Yeah.
So if that's maybe a barometer to say, Kev, that they're maybe going to be a bit more brave than they have in the past because they've maybe seen what Brighton done. We'll see. Like, if you want to be more brave, that's probably your best chance. However, you're going to give yourself more space for us, but it's risk reward, isn't it? So we'll see how it goes.
See a comment there from Mark. Hi, Mark. How's it going, mate? About our bench today. I'd love to know what, at this time of the season, what do you expect anyone to do about it? We can't sign anyone. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. Doesn't matter.
What's done's done now, unfortunately. That's it.
There's no players that are missing that aren't injured, or so that's what's available. That is it. We are where we are. There's no point in kicking the cat with it. It is what it is.
And this conversation could come up again in January before that, Kev. That's a different conversation when it gets to there about we'll have an opportunity. But at the moment, as I say, massive game against Arsenal. Like we might as well just look at the positives because I understand it's annoying and I get it, but we're in November, guys. It's not
you
like
can only
January's
make 3
next
subs.
Week. Yeah,
you can only make 3 subs.
Yeah.
So
some American, some commentators got mixed up with that.
Yeah, I know.
A couple of weeks ago, mate. That was funny, but
Henderson is probably all right for the bench.
Yeah,
he wasn't. He was muscle fatigue. He wasn't a serious knock. There's no pulls or damage or anything. So he's the obvious one to come in and shore something up or take something on in midfield. Minamino would have come on over Origi more often than not anyway because he's more likely to score than Divock. So any changes
to defenders in there as well.
Anything wouldn't have made any difference. The only person who's really missing, Bobby, hamstring injury, happens in football all the time. So there's not an awful lot you can do about that. What can you do? I know you do, Mark. Mark, I do. I get that. I do know that.
No. Listen, as well, folks. We don't mean that in a way because sometimes when a comment comes in, we don't mean it in that way. We're just saying it's like you're always in the comments and back in. What we're just trying to say is it's like it's really easy now to be like. I think we're all quite annoyed that it's at this stage, but I know you back it completely, guys. I just think we just want to make sure that I think. To be honest, see today's game, it came at a weird time. See if we just won the last 2 games or got decent results, it wouldn't have really mattered. We've kind of fell into this rut now, and I think it's really easy to get.
I think for me,
towards it.
This is where I will agree 100% with Mark. I think because I know Mark is a mod on the Coppice channel. He's a really good guy, and he's popped in here now and again, and he makes his comments. He's a really good guy. I really appreciate all of these comments. And I get on really well with Mark whenever I interact with him. For me, you sold Shaqiri in the summer. We went into the season with a 24-man squad instead of a 25-man squad. Now, that one player, would it make that much of a drastic difference? Probably not. And you can say, okay, we'll wait until we can sign someone in January. But you have to fill that space in January. You can't go through a season where we're competing on four fronts at the top end of competitions and put one arm behind your back because of constraints. And I don't believe they're financial constraints. I honestly don't. But you've got to appreciate the players that we were linked with in the summer, the likes of Saul, the likes of Malin.
Malin,
none of these players are pulling up trees where they are at the minute. So Bissouma's
another one. Bissouma,
I know but there's issues around there, and
absolutely.
The one thing I'll say about the one thing I'll go just quickly say this about Saul. When we were heavily linked, then everyone was saying, "Yeah, we're definitely really strongly in for him," and we turned around and we walked. Maybe it was a reason that we walked because of his personality. The club looked at the player and thought he is not going to fit, and we have to stand back and say, yeah, okay. trust this process. They actually are pretty good at what they're doing. It's very rare these days that we sign a flop. If we signing people will talk about Taki Minamino. We bought Taki as a £7.5 million squad player, and that's what he is. And he does okay. He's not going to pull up any trees. He's not going to set the world alight. But he's a player to fit within a squad. Eunice, why are you shitting it today, mate? Arsenal haven't won at Anfield since 2012. Relax.
Yeah, but just to clarify, Kev, Ball, listen, we all agree, mate, and I think that's the way to summarise it. Massive, need to win. I think if we win the day, it probably is a good statement. I've been quite confident we'll win. I think today sends a statement, even though, listen, Arsenal, as Kev said, they've beat the teams they should beat. But I still think a game at home against Arsenal under the lights, come on, guys, let's get excited for it. It's a massive win there. The place will be bouncing. Yeah. And do you know what? Say if it could be one of those statement wins today, Kev, even a 3-0, but you're brilliant. I remember we beat them 3-1 2 seasons ago, but last season, but we're brilliant, we're really good. That's something like that. Just get everyone.
We're well capable of going and blasting 3 or 4 past Arsenal in 20 minutes. We're well capable of doing that. That front three with Thiago, Ox, and Fabinho behind them are as good as anything you'll see. And we have been scoring goals. Our problem lately has been a bit leaky and a bit careless at set pieces.
Yeah, but
West Ham didn't pull us apart.
No, 3 shots, mate. 3 shots, 3 goals.
Yeah, they were our mistakes.
One set piece, one break.
We got to cut them out, but
it was individuals in that game. It was at each individual goal. Yeah. And what I mean by that is in other games, I do agree, guys, it's been more like the setup and how we performed as a defensive line or midfield. But in that game, it generally was 3 shots, 2 set pieces, and the fact that we gave the ball away from our own half. And
in a bad spot. Yeah.
So it's like, you can do that with a lot of games, I get that. But that specifically was like, you had 2 goalkeeping errors as well, which is unlike Alisson. So it was a strange game. Today, guys, I think we can get the win. So on that, Kev,
I do as well.
Before we get to predictions, can everybody get your predictions in the comments? Is there anything you wanted to add before we get to predictions, Kev?
No, I'm just looking forward to this one. I want to see a performance. I want to see us be more ruthless and be a bit nasty. Not nasty as in tackles or anything like that. And just be aggressive.
Aggression. Yeah,
be aggressive. Arsenal are a decent side, but that's what they are, decent. If we have to start this block of games on the front foot and really get after this side, especially the way I'm just looking through the results here now for today's results. Villa 2-0, Burnley Palace 3-3, Newcastle 3, Brentford 3. They got a late one.
Jesus, 2 free frees, Kev. How much money would you got for that? My word.
Norwich 2, Norwich 2, Southampton 1.
Whoa, Dean Smith first game. What a result that is.
Hanley with the winner. Watford 4,
that's
Man United.
That's his birthday today. That's funny, that.
Fair play. Watford 4, Man United 1. Wolves 1, West Ham 0. Jimenez with the winner.
Big result for Wolves.
Big result. I fancied Wolves would win because
I like him as a manager. I do.
They're playing well, you know. But yeah, I've seen a few there. You got a 4-2 from Paulie, 2-1 win.
3-2 Kev, 4-2 MP 2-1. What are you thinking, Kev? What's your thinking?
I went 2-0 because I want to see a clean sheet, and I think the criticism that Alisson, Virgil, and Matip have had over the international break would have hurt and would have stung. They'll be desperate for a clean sheet today, and I want to see that clean sheet. I think 2-0, I'll be happy enough, but it could be more.
Fair enough, mate. I think I'm going to go for 3-1. If it does happen, that'll be 3 in a row at Anfield against Arsenal, 3-1. So I think 3-1 for me. I just think we will concede now. Even though if we play well defensively, teams just seems to hit the net, some point. But hopefully you can actually lose 3-1 and have a good defensive performance, if you know what I'm saying. So I hope we don't concede any, but I just think we will.
Kevin Ball 3-2 game. The way the games have gone today, Kevin.
The way the games are going 3-3. Get 4-3 in the cup.
You get 2 3-3s, and a 4-1. Then God knows. Do you know what? And that's the other side of it. Potentially, this game could be anything. I mean, we're not experts. We're far from it.
I'll take a 5-0 right now, guys. Take a 5-0. We'll have a 5-0.
I mean, as much as we try to be as neutral as possible, we're both biased. You know, in all fairness, we're not going to lie and say that we're not. Arsenal, I
think
don't
we
see.
judge it realistically, Kev, as we
Yeah,
look at the opposition and
yeah.
judge them fairly.
I don't see Arsenal keeping us out, but I think we're very capable of keeping them out. You know, I don't think Ben White and Tomiyasu Tomiyasu's a right back, hasn't faced a Sadio Mane. You know, and Sadio Mane has been in good form, irrespective of what.
And Tavares hasn't played Salah, has he? Because he's not playing Tierney. So that's a big one. We spoke about that. Like, obviously, I know, but Tierney's been good for Scotland, and he is good defensively.
He is very good defensively for Arsenal as well. I
honestly thought that could cause Salah a hard game. So I'm surprised at that, mate.
I thought that he would have played Tierney and played. Was it what's his name? Tavares.
Tavares, mate. Yeah.
I thought he would have played Tavares as a holding mid next to Partey in a 4-2-3-1.
Possibly,
and that's what I thought he would do. I thought he'd double up on Mo Salah on that side. But I think, I fancy Salah and Mane to have a good game today.
It'll be interesting with the Thiago in there as well. If he's on the right hand side, that'll be interesting. Anxious Raven says United game ended 4-1, so I'm picking 4-1. Fair enough, mate. I think that's a good shout. Like that. Tierney's passing down it has been good too. He has, but he can play that conservative role. He has to. I feel like I feel like Tavares is quite raw. He's tiny. He's a bit of maverick. I've been told by Arsenal fans. And I think that will suit Salah. Could be wrong, but I think that will suit Salah. Yeah. But on that, Kev, thanks for the comment.
Let people go and get their cup of tea.
Get ready to go get a cup of tea. But Kev, great show, mate, and thanks for all comments. Brilliant as usual, guys. And if you've not, check out Daytrippers, like and subscribe. Brilliant channel. So many shows, like a show every day. And you'll see this man Kev here a lot as well. He's encyclopedia knowledge. If not, he does a sports unplugged as well last night. And
I was on there last night. That was a bit of a laugh. Myself and
it's always a laugh, mate. Always.
Bracky's on his way up to Sunderland at the minute. So
he's up there for the women's game.
He's up there for the women's game tonight. It's 7:00 kickoff. So he said he's going to be watching the Liverpool game on his phone. So
he should be watching us on his phone. But all the best to Bracky, and I enjoy it. And just to finish, Zad's here says 5-0 Conroy. I usually say it's not going to be 5-0 we won, so it's not going to be 5-0. So fingers crossed, guys. But on that, folks, thanks for that brilliant show. Thanks for the knowledge, Kev, is always brilliant.
Cheers, man.
And to everyone, get a cup of tea and enjoy the game, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
See you later,
Bye,
lads.
folks.
Bye.